Hello, my dear Taurus. Today, we're diving deep into a powerful message for all the steadfast bulls out there. Imagine this. Someone has invested their energy, their resources, to see you stumble. This isn't just a passing thought. It's a stark reality lurking behind friendly faces. You might think you've weathered every storm on your own, but the truth is, you've been shielded all along. Now is the moment to unveil the truths your gut has been trying to tell you. So, before we begin, I invite you to join our community. If you resonate with this message, please like, share, and hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us grow and reach more souls like yours. My cherished Taurus, I'm here not to teach, but to remind you of what you've always known deep down. You've sensed it, haven't you? A subtle instability, an unseen crack in the solid foundation you've worked so hard to build. Each time you enter a familiar space where someone you once trusted stands, a heaviness settles on your shoulders. You feel a barrier, something blocking your growth, and doubt creeps in. You wonder if you're just being overly cautious or perhaps imagining things. But let me assure you, dear Taurus, you are not imagining this. Take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and listen to the whispers of your soul. There is someone who has acted with cold intent, someone who has paid a price to see you falter. And when I say paid a price, I mean it in the most literal sense. They've exchanged money, favors, or perhaps even dark energy to create obstacles on your path. They couldn't stand the stability and peace you embody, not because you did anything wrong, but because your steadfastness forced them to confront their own chaos. What's even more painful is that this person is not a stranger. It's someone you once valued deeply. You shared your future plans with them, protected them even when you were carrying your own burdens. They didn't stab you in the back with a knife, but they knew exactly where your foundation was weakest. They understood your fears, your values, and your vulnerabilities, and they used that knowledge to silently destabilize you. You've asked yourself countless times, why would they do this? It's hard to fathom how someone could twist your trust into a weapon against you. You know the kind of envy that wears a mask of concern. And it's precisely because of your loyalty and steadfast nature that the betrayal cuts so deeply. The true pain doesn't lie in the act of betrayal itself, but in the realization that you were once their rock during their darkest days when no one else was. Your soul knows this truth. You don't need proof. You've felt it in the unexplained losses and the sense of unease. If you're hearing these words, it's time to name this betrayal, not to harbor hatred, but to release it. Place your hand over your heart and softly whisper, I see you, I know you, and I will not be broken. You may never receive an apology, nor will anyone come forward to confess their wrongdoings. But you don't need them anymore. The truth you seek is already within you, and that truth is more than enough to ignite a new journey. I invite you to do something simple yet profound. Write down the first name that surfaces when you think of this silent betrayal. Write not to keep hatred alive, but to give your soul a place to lay down the burdens it has carried for far too long. This act is a ritual, a farewell to the old version of yourself, the one who trusted with unwavering persistence, who gave without condition even when their own resources felt depleted. From this moment forward, you are no longer that person. You are awakening, and your inner fortitude no longer fears the tremors. You might wonder why, if someone sought to bring you down, you're still standing here. The answer is a soft yet unwavering truth. You have always been protected. Each time a deal mysteriously fell through at the last minute, each time you suddenly backed out of a commitment, It was not mere chance. Let me tell you about the guardian who has stood between you and unseen threats, a being without form, yet always aware of your needs. This protector carries the sword of light and ensures that sincere, hard-working souls like you never fall into darkness. That guardian is Archangel Michael, and you have never been alone, dear Taurus. Reflect on a moment in your life when you felt an inexplicable tension just before signing a contract or entering a partnership. Something inside you tightened, warning you not to proceed. You may have thought it was just your practical intuition, but perhaps it was Michael guiding you, protecting you from energies that could drain your resources. In Buddhist traditions, they call these protectors Dharma protectors. In angelology, it's Archangel Michael, the one who stands firm against darkness for those who live truthfully. You may have felt Michael's presence, not through sight, but through that unshakable sense of security. Perhaps you were about to send a risky text or make a big purchase, but a sudden hesitation in your gut made you stop, preventing a cascade of consequences. You have been intervened for countless times, not through grand miracles, but through gentle protection, as silent as the earth, yet as strong as a mountain. I recall a Taurus man I once helped. He shared that every time he was set to partner with an old friend, something would inevitably go wrong. A delay in paperwork, a sudden lack of funds, or an inexplicable sense of unease. Initially, he thought it was just bad luck, but later he realized he was being held back from someone who was trying to exploit his connections and finances. From that experience, he learned to listen not just with his ears but with his entire body. Every time he felt unstable, that was his soul speaking. Every moment of hesitation was Michael saying, "This path is not secure." The loneliness you felt, the times you thought you were abandoned, these weren't punishments. They were sacred protections. Have you ever considered that what has kept you whole isn't just your strength, but also the unseen protection surrounding you? If that's true, then you are not alone. You no longer have to fight in the dark by yourself. As long as you keep sincerity in your heart, you will always be shielded. You don't need to believe this right away. Just take a moment and remember the times you escaped a bad situation without understanding why. The moments you changed your mind and later felt grateful for it. Write those moments down as reminders that you don't need to see with your eyes to know that light walks with you. You don't have to pray in a specific way or use the right words. As long as you hold truth in your heart, Archangel Michael will be there in your dreams, in the sunlight streaming through your window, in those gut feelings that later prove to be so accurate they send chills down your spine. Don't dismiss those strange sensations within you. Your soul is like an ancient compass, tuning in through silence. Sometimes your protector may not come to speak, but to hold you back at the very moment you need it most. That's why, despite their attempts to see you fall, you continue to stand your ground, not because you know how to fight back, but because someone else has taken the hits meant for you. However, not every arrow comes straight at you. Some are lost through those who stand in the middle, those who neither choose your side nor oppose you. They may smile at both ends, but it's their indecision that wounds your loyal heart the most. In uncovering the truth, you must confront another face, not the mastermind, not the savior, but the one who opened the door for instability to enter. This realization can be difficult to accept, not because it's frightening, but because it feels too close. You've told yourself, no, it can't be, even feeling guilty for doubting them. It could be a friend, an ex-lover, a family member, someone who once held your hand through your shattered dreams, someone who made you believe they would never hurt you. Yet, that very person became the bridge for for the instability you sought to keep out. They didn't need to speak ill of you. They only needed to share a small story, a detail, a vulnerability you once entrusted to them. And just like that, darkness seeped in quietly, like a draft through a crack in the door. Not everyone who causes harm is malicious. Some simply lack the strength to hold the trust you placed in them. In your most vulnerable moments, when you needed protection the most, they chose silence. Silence when others spoke of you in low, heavy tones. Silence when they knew something was wrong. This betrayal didn't come with a knife. It came wrapped in deliberate silence. You, who always seeks to maintain stability, have made excuses for them, thinking they didn't mean any harm. But there are actions that require no explanation. And there are souls who must bear the weight of responsibility, even without malicious intent. I recall a woman who confided in an old friend about her dreams and financial fears, things she had never shared before. Weeks later, those intimate details became the subject of whispers. She never confronted her friend. She simply stepped away. Her heart shattered, not because she lost a friend, but because she lost a safe place to share her truth. Have you ever found such a place, only to discover it was the first to pull away when you needed support? I know you hesitate to label it as betrayal. You've always tried to maintain a gentle image of those who mattered to you. But remember, forgiveness doesn't mean ignoring the truth. Sometimes, forgiveness requires looking directly at what happened so you can finally walk away. You don't need to shout it from the rooftops or expose anyone. All you need is to establish new boundaries, built not from wounds, but from awareness. Starting today, let your heart choose again. Not everyone who entered your life early deserves to remain. Not everyone who knows your weak spots has the right to touch your healing light. Setting boundaries isn't cold, it's an act of profound self-preservation. If you need to, write down their name or the feelings you once carried when standing before them. Write not to condemn, but to close the door they left open for too long. Gently take back the key to your own house, for your peace deserves no more half-hearted connections. You no longer need anyone to speak for you. You have found your voice. This journey isn't easy, but each time you step away from an unstable bond, you protect yourself from repeating old wounds. When you begin to choose again from a place of awakening, a quiet miracle unfolds. You don't have to label it. You don't have to search for it. New light will come. New people will enter your life, not to control or manipulate, but to walk alongside you gently, honestly, and wholly. Even if you've been pushed out of old circles, a new space is opening up for you, a space where you no longer have to exhaust yourself to keep someone from leaving. A place that doesn't demand your silence for acceptance. It's here that you'll see clearly what the one who hurt you is now facing. There are things you don't need to act upon. No need for retaliation. No need to speak up. No need to prove how deeply you were once wounded. The universe remembers. The soul remembers. The law of balance and karma never forgets. You may think they're doing just fine, still laughing, still loved, still trusted. But the truth is, what they hide isn't visible to everyone, yet they carry it every single day. The one who hurt you, who turned away, who used your trust to let instability in, is now beginning to face their own consequences, not with you, but with the very seeds they've sown into this world. No one needs to punish them. The silence of light alone is enough to send darkness away. Do you recall those sleepless nights, filled with a sense of instability that no one could see? They are beginning to experience nights like that now. Remember the feelings of being misunderstood, manipulated, and isolated? They are now touching depths of loneliness they cannot even name. This isn't about wishing harm upon them, it's about understanding how the universe operates, gently, slowly, yet precisely. The miracle is that you don't need to look back, nor do you need to ask if they regret their actions. What matters now is how you have emerged, more whole than ever, with a steadfastness that can never be extinguished. Your journey wasn't meant for revenge, it was about rebirth from what once seemed impossible to heal. You came here to demonstrate that a heart betrayed can still trust, a soul deceived can still forgive, and a foundation that was once shaken can be rebuilt stronger than ever without seeking permission. They tried to silence you, to make you doubt your own stability, but that very faith you held has saved you. The patience they mistook for weakness has transformed into an unshakable strength. The silence you endured has become the foundation for the greatest awakening of your soul. Take a deep breath, dear Taurus. Feel it. Does your chest feel lighter? Does your heart no longer brace itself as it once did? If your answer is yes, then you are exactly where you are meant to be. You are no longer who you were. You no longer need the circles that once excluded you. You no longer have to wait for someone to understand you before you feel accepted. You have accepted yourself first. While they are faltering, you are rising not higher than them, but higher than the version of yourself who once bowed their head in fear of displeasing others. I know you are still tender, and that tenderness is not a weakness. It is the channel through which warmth flows into you, a testament to your ability to feel, trust, and love. Now, I urge you to write something down for yourself. No one else needs to read it. Just exhale deeply and write, "I have seen the truth, I forgive, and I choose to walk forward on solid ground." Write it as a ritual, as a ticket out of the memories that no longer serve your soul. Write it as a final farewell to the one who hurt you but no longer holds power over your heart. Step forward, dear Taurus. No looking back, no regrets. What awaits you is a life that feels secure, a peace that is no longer hidden. A brand new chapter is being written by you, with a voice that no longer trembles and a heart that no longer seeks permission to live authentically. Thank you for being here until this moment. Thank you for refusing to let pain harden you. Thank you for choosing stability even when chaos surrounded you. I wish for your days ahead to be as gentle as a spring breeze, as rooted as the oldest tree, and as abundant as a heart that has finally set down a burden it was never meant to carry. May the ones who come into your life now never require you to sacrifice yourself for love, but instead, love you as you have always deserved. Remember, dear Taurus, you are never alone. The universe has witnessed everything, and your foundation is solid once more.